since we break it down, I want to ask you guys. Let's move to the next topic. I want to talk about Andre Jackson Jr. When you heard that he was going to move into the starting lineup, is this more of a trend for Doc Rivers? Do you think that? And that's why I talk about when I look at Ryan Rollins and what's going to happen next with him and how that feels. Is this a trend that you think we're going to start to see with Doc Rivers wanting to play the young guys and looking forward to playing the young boys, or is this a one-off where he's just excited about Andre Jackson Jr.? Because again, I have my questions lie around what I see when I see Bobby Portis and Brook Lopez on the floor together. That's when I have a lot of questions about this basketball team. And so could this move into Tyler Smith territory, Liam Robbins territory, or because I think it kills Doc to have to do this kind of stuff. He doesn't want to do it. He wants to play his veterans. But when he makes moves like this, when you see Andre Jackson Jr. starting line, and then you see it work, where do you think? Does this embolden Doc even more to say, okay, man, I really got to embrace this? Because again, it was night and day from a transition standpoint, from a rebounding standpoint, from defensive energy and effort. Everything looked different about this basketball team. And again, you could say a lot of it started with Andre Jackson Jr.
So what I'll say is that I think you can have your own opinion, analysis, assessment of what went down. But the one thing that doesn't lie is the eye in the sky or the film. The film doesn't lie. You can watch this, and you and all of us, right? None of us have access to the little things hanging out, little analytics cameras that are trained on each player. Like, none of us have access to any of that stuff, but we can watch and see a palpable difference tonight. And I know that maybe we're watching and we're not looking for the exact same thing that Doc's looking for, but you could see the difference. And I think at this point, when you look at your team being 2-6, and you look at the intensity and you see how palpable this was tonight, it's undeniable that the youth are going to give you a different look that at this point looks like it's going to be to the benefit of the team. So if Doc wants to go back out there and say, we're going to keep doing what we were doing before this is one off, right? No do-rags in the facility, no earrings, you can take that old school approach if you want to, and you can go ahead and keep sliding right on back to see what 2-7 looks like, 2-8 looks like, 2-9 looks like. I think you have to play the young boys. Now, Brook Lopez, Bobby Portis, completely different ball game altogether. It's a different conversation, I think, when you start talking about the young boys and the bigs and stuff. But having said that, at the minimum, you got to be open. I just don't think you have a choice at this point to keep saying, no, we're gonna rest the young guys. No, we're not gonna play the young guys. No. You got to give them run because the young boys are shining right now.
Yeah, I think that AJAX, if he didn't play himself in the starting rotation, he's definitely played himself to a considerable amount of more minutes. I thought Brook had a hell of a game, though, so it's tough for me to take Brook off the floor. But I get
a hell of a game. From a defensive standpoint.
Defensively, yes.
Yeah,
offensively,
defensively, like that. But that's been my thing all year, right? If you're not going to impact the game offensively, you got to show up somewhere else. And I felt like he held the paint down. He deflected those rebounds to Portis and some of those other guys the way that he's supposed to. I got to give my hats off to Doc Rivers, man. We criticize his brother. We talk about him when he's not good. Yeah. And as you said in the opening, Trey, he wrote the prescription tonight. I hope that this is something this is a thing, and we talked about it a couple games ago with Andy Reid, how he is able to stay where he stays because he's able to adapt to the younger culture. So this is the first step in Doc doing that. And you got to continue to get these young guys on the floor. And I understand why you want some of those veterans there too. But at this point, when the veterans were making the mistakes that they were making, you can't go wrong with the young guys because at least they can learn from them and change.